Dr. Debbie here with another dose of Dr. Debbie. Are you playing small? I'm asking that because I just found that that's exactly what I've been doing. Now you may, and I'm going to tell you a story. You may have heard we are the 5 people we spend the most time with, right? So if you are with people who inspire you to play a bigger game, you will be inspired by that. If you are spending time with people coming from lack and scarcity, it will hold you, not only will it hold you back, it's going to have you question if you are even considering doing something. So here, I'm actually in 2 different mastermind groups, and I'm purposely in those groups because it helps me stretch and think bigger and grow. And I had this idea, and it seemed so crazy. And I'm thinking, I can't even share this with them. They're going to think I'm nuts. But think about it. Any great idea at first was nuts until it was okay. But I shared this idea, and to me, it seems so huge. And within minutes, it was like, oh, well, did you think about doing this? And did you think about adding this? And what about this way and that way? And it made me realize how small I've been playing. And I only know that because when we're in our own head, or when we're dealing with people who are playing smaller, we can really get caught up in this. You know, I'll never forget, a couple of years ago, I was planning an event. I was going to do a 1-day event, and it was terrifying for me. I had never done a 1-day event, but in this group I was in, that was part of what we do. You put on a 1-day event, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Well, not actually, it was a 3-day event, and I was playing really small by just putting on a 1-day, but it was my first one. And I thought, okay, we're going to do this 1-day event, and it's just going to be fabulous and just fantastic. So I had speakers that I had booked. I got vendors, I got sponsors. I mean, I was so excited about this. I got the perfect outfit. I mean, this thing was just all about transformation. It was going to be the most incredible day. So I had gotten together with a group of people, and we're all sitting around a table. And you know, when you're all sitting around and it's sort of like, what's new with you? What's new with you? What's new with you? Okay, well, it was my turn. And what's new with you? Well, this event. So I'm going on and on and on and on. And then, have you ever done that where you're speaking, and then all of a sudden you hear how quiet it starts getting, you know, and it sort of pulled me out of my, I was busy telling all about this event, and they're kind of looking at me like, ooh, you sure you want to do that? You sure? Like, wow, personal development. I mean, asking people to take a day off of work, and wow, on a Friday, and $97, like, that's a lot for something like that. Are you sure? And this was totally well-meaning. They were trying to spare me the embarrassment, the loss of money, all of this. So I started getting really scared because I had never done an event, and I know they were looking out for my best interest. And I'm thinking, you know, they're right. They're probably right. So, and I'm thinking, okay, so I still have time to cancel the venue. I'll lose my deposit, but okay. And I'll cancel the speakers before they book their flights. And I'll tell the vendors we're postponing it or something, and I'll cancel them too. And the sponsors, and I had it all figured out, and I left. And then I thought, well, you know, I am part of this other group. Let me reach out to them and just throw it out to them and see what happens. So we were in a private Facebook group at the time, and I said, you know, it seems just way too big and way too scary, which means unfamiliar. And you know, it's not too late for me to cancel. And how would you go about canceling this? And what would you say? And that was where I was headed. Well, within about 5 minutes, I start hearing, Debbie, 1 day? Why isn't it 2 days? You have such amazing content. It should at least be 2 days. 97, that's a lot of value for 97. You sure you don't want to raise it to 197? Oh, it's in New York. I wish, you know, I was in New York. I'd be there in a minute. And I was like, oh, wow. And I looked at the 2 messages I was receiving. And if I didn't have access to that other group, I would have canceled it in a minute. I mean, just to close the loop for you on that story, it was an amazing day, amazing day. It was an incredible experience, and I was so glad I did it. But if I only had access to the group that was well intentioned, trying to talk me out of it or looking out for my best interest, I never would have done it, and I wouldn't have grown. So my question to you is, number one, who are you spending your time with? Because it will affect every single thing that you do. And are you playing small? Like I said, I just came back from this event and I caught myself playing small. I mean, what I was thinking with this new program I'm designing and this new next evolution of my business, and I'm like, it just sounds so big and so crazy. And it really wasn't at all. It only seemed that way because of what I had been telling myself and some of the people I had been sharing it with. So if you have an idea, and you know when it's an idea that does seem crazy, right? But meanwhile, it's like you feel something. It's like your soul's on fire and you know that feeling. It doesn't feel like a chore or an obligation. It feels like a passion. And then you're like, I'm crazy. I can never do that. What am I, nuts? Yes, that one. That's where you need to be a part of a group, or you need to be part of just even like-minded friends that you feel comfortable in sharing something like that with. Because if you share that to the wrong group, you will cancel, you will think you're crazy, and you just won't do it. But with the right people, they will help stoke that flame. And before you know it, that one idea that you had in your head will become a reality. And, and I also have two visuals that I picture. If I have a good idea and then it just seems too big and too scary or too hard, two things that get me over the hump. Okay. The first one is I picture my idea now floating around in a thought bubble. And then I picture someone looking up like, wow, that's a good idea, and snatching it. And that was my idea. And now it's somebody else's. And if that one doesn't get me, I picture sitting my 4 kids down. I mean, they're older now, but when they were younger, and telling them, it was just too hard. I'm not doing it. And here, my 4 kids are looking at me like, what? It was too hard? That's all you got, Mom? So if one of them doesn't get me over the hump, usually the other one does. But just to wrap this up, if you have a dream, an idea, an inspiration, it's because you're the one who's supposed to be doing it. That's the first thing. The second thing, be super careful who you share these things with. The right people, the right person, the right people will inspire you to go for it. And other people who just don't get it, don't understand, could be totally well-intentioned, trying to spare you the embarrassment, the humiliation, the money, whatever it is. You'll have yourself second guessing yourself in a minute. And then the third thing is play a bigger game. And if you need support with that, here's where you find that like-minded friend, that group, whatever. And that's certainly what we do within the PBT Institute. It is a group like no other. So of course, if you're struggling to heal from betrayal and the devastation of a family member, a partner, a friend, a coworker, self, that's where you need to be. But I just really wanted to give you this little dose of just reminder of if you're not playing big enough, it's time. So, if you are struggling with betrayal, few things I'd love to suggest to you. Of course, the first one is Trust Again, Overcoming Betrayal. And it's right here, so I'm going to grab it. Regaining Health, Confidence, and Happiness. And you could just find that at the PBT, as in Post-Betrayal Transformation, the PBT Institute.com/Trust Again. It's going to send you to Amazon, but I want to give you that link because you can come back and get all kinds of amazing goodies. I have another book coming out very, very soon, and it's really exciting. Not ready to share it just yet because I want to make sure a couple of pieces are in place before I do, but all good stuff. So play a bigger game. That's what you're here for. Don't let anybody talk you out of your vision or your dream. And thank you so much. Come back next time. I have a few more little nuggets I want to share in the next few weeks with future doses of Dr. Debbie. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.